Hey everybody, it's Mr. Bierbauer, and we're just going to do something a little bit different today. We've got some classes who are still getting caught up to us, so I wanted to do a short kind of fun project. So all y'all are going to need is going to be some paper, pencil. If you have one, you could use a black marker or a Sharpie, and then whatever other coloring materials you have. I'm going to use colored pencils today for mine. And we need some scissors today. And I know we haven't used scissors yet in my lessons, so we're gonna have to make sure we're being real careful with them. And I'll go over a couple scissor skills. All right, so let me show you what we're gonna make today. We're gonna be using our names and making some art that can be a monster or it can be an alien. You can see, here's one that I made out of my name. It's not finished yet because I was just playing around some. I'm gonna do another one with y'all. Here's another one that I was working on. It's kind of a weird looking face. And then here's one that I haven't even added any details to yet. So I'm gonna work on one with y'all together. The first thing we are gonna do is we're gonna take our paper, we're gonna have it long ways towards us, and we're gonna fold it in half. And then when we have it towards us, we want the folded part facing towards our bellies, the open part away from us. The next thing you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to write your name along the fold. So if you have a short name, you may need to write your first name and your last initial. If you have a longer name, you might just have to write your whole name. You can see right here, I did Mr. B, and that ended up being really small, so I had to do just a face. You can see here, I did Bierbauer, and it has a lot of details. So I think what I'm gonna do is just go with my first name like I did here. So I'm gonna write my name. I want it nice and big. And again, you want it to touch that fold. So my name is Thomas, so I'm writing T-H-O, and it's okay if you kind of go off the bottom a little bit. M-A-S. So you can see I pretty much made it stretch all the way across. If you end up running out of space, you can either erase it and redraw it. You can flip it over and do it that way, or you can just use as much as you can get. So the next thing you're gonna do is we're gonna trace sort of a bubble around the outside of our letters. So we're gonna start again at the bottom. We're just gonna go up and we're outlining it. You can get pretty close to it. You can say a little bit farther away. This is just gonna give us something to cut on. And I didn't do this my first time, so this should be a little bit easier. So see, I've taken my name and I outlined it. So it looks like it's got a big old bubble around it, or a force field. Now this is when the cutting is gonna come in. So let's remember a couple things about cutting. Remember, you wanna hold your scissors with your thumb through the small hole and fingers through the big hole. And you always wanna cut away from you. And if you're coming to a curve like this, you may have to turn the paper while you're cutting. So see how I'm turning the paper? And it's okay if you get off of the lines a little bit here, because we're going to be using the other side of the paper anyway, where they won't see our letters or our lines. And if you get where it's getting kind of tricky to keep going, you can always cut off that extra paper and keep working from there. See, I'm continuing to turn the paper as I need to make it easier for me to cut. And we want to make sure we're not cutting towards our hands. That was not very safe what I just did. All right. So now you can see I have my name cut out, and we're going to see what happens when I open it up and flip it over. Okay. So now I got to think about what I want to do with this. I'm going to make it into an alien or a monster. You can see before I decided I'd turn all this stuff into tentacles down here. But I think I'll flip it this way and maybe make it some really big horns. So this part you can do it however you want. Remember, monsters and aliens don't have to look realistic. You can have some pretty wild details. So I'm going to go ahead. I will switch over to the Speedy Cam and see what I can figure out. And you guys just fill up your whole area on your paper. Use some colors, use some textures, use lines, anything we have learned so far. And I definitely want to see how these turn out because I think they're going to be awesome. All right, and there is my monster. I decided to make this so it could be hair or horns, so I used some different colors up there. And since I had already done tentacles, but I wanted something to be bumpy down here, I just gave him some huge giant toes to walk around on. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Be super creative. As you can see, you can have all sorts of different results just depending on what you come up with and what shape your name makes. So get to work, and I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. I know they're going to be really cool.